Hi, I'm Tom Nelson, and this is why climate skepticism and the Bitcoin revolution are parts of the same struggle for freedom. I'm a climate skeptic, a climate denier, if you will.
What else are they lying to us about?
As anyone will know who's seen my long-running podcast on climate science and energy.
You know, it's all nonsense.
Crap upon crap upon
The
crap.
numbers don't lie, the people do.
I am also a Bitcoin supporter and enthusiast. Climate and Bitcoin, two separate interests you might imagine, except I'm not alone.
This climate, quote, science stuff doesn't make a lot of sense.
Think about Bitcoin. Great thing, huge fan.
In recent months, I've been impressed by how many climate skeptics are being drawn towards the cause of Bitcoin, and how many advocates of Bitcoin have started to express skepticism about the climate alarm. These two issues are, in fact, closely linked. Climate and Bitcoin are like two battlefronts in the same war. Let me explain. When I meet someone for the first time, I can often tell from the job that they do and the general political views they hold what their take on climate will be. For example, academics and people who work in public administration who are left-wing are rarely rabid climate skeptics. Climate hangs together with a host of other political views. They will also look askance at the thought of tax cuts or shrinking the size of government. And they will almost certainly dislike Donald Trump and hold anyone who voted for him in contempt. They believe in the climate alarm not because they know anything about climate science. Very few people do. But because they tend to respect the views of government-funded experts and have great faith in the public establishment of which they are a part. On the other hand, if I meet someone who works in sales or marketing, or is a farmer, or owns a little business, I know they will be far more open to hearing climate skeptic arguments and laugh at jokes about climate activists. They will also be more likely to want tax cuts and less government intrusion into their lives. Such people working in the private sector will tend to be more suspicious of the establishment and skeptical of government-funded experts. In a way, this is all obvious. People whose livelihoods depend directly or indirectly on government spending, whether it's university academics or government bureaucrats, tend to approve and crave more government spending. People who are part of the publicly funded establishment tend to trust the publicly funded establishment. Why does this go with paying lip service to the climate alarm? Because the solution to climate alarm is always higher taxes and more government control of our lives. What's destroying the planet, say the climate activists, is unregulated, free market activity. Ordinary people consuming too much and traveling too much by car and plane. In other words, behind the climate alarm is actually a great political struggle for and against government power. For those who wish to take away our freedom and our money, they need a reason, an excuse. And that excuse is the climate catastrophe that's always just around the corner, but never seems to get here. We need to hand over our cars and cash and submit to their authority, because if we don't, sometime in the future, the planet will be destroyed. The claims about an unfolding climate crisis are absurd. They lack any supporting scientific evidence.
It is a big agenda behind it.
Climate is going to be their most convenient excuse.
The climate alarm has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with government control.
If you can't track everything you do, everyone's going to die because the planet's going to explode.
Where does Bitcoin fit in?
The first tenet of Bitcoin: remove money from the state.
Bitcoin is much more than a weird investment opportunity.
Bitcoin is a threat to their control.
The urge to find a non-government form of currency, the determination to make it work, is a political act.
Do not underestimate what a state can do if it wants to.
Literally shut off your spending.
When you listen to the most informed and passionate supporters of Bitcoin, it's very clear that there's something more there than a desire to make money.
There's a cartel, essentially, that's stewarding over the money printing power.
There is also a determination to hit back against what they see as the systemic abuse of government power.
Their biggest lever of control over individuals is the monetary system.
The government monopoly control of money has been used to defraud its citizens. The state-sanctioned devaluation of currency over the past century has been breathtaking. Since the formation of the Fed in 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its value. This is worse than a stealth tax. It is naked theft. It steals your savings, it lowers your wages, and has been used to fuel the most spectacular and profligate expansion of our government.
Many financial experts dismissed the cryptocurrency as a fad.
It's as valuable as casino chips are.
Everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid, I think.
As with the climate alarm, support for or opposition to Bitcoin tends to run along political lines. It reflects your view of government. Do you trust it or not? In the case both of climate and Bitcoin, as always, supporters of government say they just want to protect us. They want to dictate how we live to protect us from a climate catastrophe. They want to monitor our spending to protect us from criminals who might otherwise go undetected. They want to dictate what currency we use to ensure for us a stable medium of exchange that doesn't lose its value.
There is this whole plan to use central bank digital currency.
That should be a scary thing.
Get on with the narrative, or we're going to take your access to money away.
Well, you've had too many burgers this month, so we're going to shut you down. down, what are you going to use?
The politics of climate, the politics of Bitcoin have much in common. They are, as I say, two battles in the same war. As one with a foot in both camps, I would urge Bitcoin supporters to re-up on climate and for climate skeptics to find out about the Bitcoin rebellion. We're on the same side, guys, and we'll be stronger when we fully recognize that. My name is Tom Nelson, and this is Guerrilla Science. Please subscribe to our channel and donate to carry on. We need your help.